Magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Shannon and Megan.
Hi, everyone.
Also known as the Scorpio Sisters, here to explore the mysterious, the magical, and the arcane.
With your sacred space, what makes you feel comfortable? What makes you feel comforted? We talk about this a lot, how the energy of a space is dictated by what we consume with our senses. Mm-hmm. You can create actually a sacred space where you're simply surrounded by books, and you can make that into a circle by putting the books in a circle or choosing 4, 5, however many books you want to represent deities or elements or any other characteristics that you use to cast a circle, and assigning each book one of those things and putting them in a circle around you. Now you're a book dragon.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with them being the same thing. There's nothing wrong with having several of both.
Right. And they can be permanent, semi-permanent, or completely temporary. For instance, you're casting a spell on the beach. You're at the beach on vacation, or maybe you are lucky enough to live near the ocean, and you know you need to cast a circle. Draw a circle in the sand. Use pebbles, rocks, sticks. Even if you feel like you want to do a casting, some kind of manifesting, everything feels right, you don't have anything with you, that's okay. Use your finger, draw a circle in the sand, and find things that you can put around that circle and in that circle to represent what you need to make the spell work.
If you need anything.
Exactly. You might just need yourself. And you can draw symbols in the sand. Sand is amazing. It's irritating, but it's amazing.
For sacred spaces, we need to gravitate towards hearing what our hearts, our souls, our minds, and even our bodies find comforting, find beautiful, find relaxing and pleasing, and design a space for that. Mm-hmm. And if that includes tarot, augment sticks, plant life, books, musical instruments, whatever it is, allow that corner, that room, that rug, that spot to evolve as you start to find the things that make you happy, that make you relax, that allow your spirit to rejuvenate after a very hard and trying day.
Mm-hmm.
It might be your kitchen.
Yeah, you can have multiple sacred spaces throughout your home. They can be little pockets of energetic sacredness throughout your home. If it's your kitchen and your bathroom, you can do a rug that you enchant, or some people really like painting designs on their floors to try to highlight these areas. If you love to meditate while you're doing the dishes or while you're cooking in front of your stove or in front of your sink, you can actually paint a faux rug, but you can incorporate colors and symbols and designs sacred to your practice that are going to help steward your energy and help really cleanse it while you're doing those things. And that can become a sacred act as well. So when you are cooking, that becomes a naturally sacred act because you're engaging in it while you're also cleansing your energy.
The less thought of area in which you create a sacred space or cast a circle from is if you do a painting on your ceiling in a circle pattern. Mm-hmm. Because very rarely do people look up.
Yeah.
Especially if you have hardwood floors that you don't want to paint because you think they're beautiful and you happen to be a person who does not like rugs. Painting a circular pattern or a geometric sacred geometry circular pattern on your ceiling could be a very pleasing from on high surrounding you circle.
Right.
Coming down and then surrounding you when you're in that circle. And you don't have to hide it from anyone because if anyone ever looks up, you can just make it a trend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You can also do this in the same color that your ceiling already is, maybe with a different gloss of paint. So you can just be like, oh yeah, that's a pattern that I really liked, if anybody notices it. But if you're not trying to hide it, go all out. And you can do it right over your bed. You can do it right over your sofa. You can do it with the ceiling right above your dining table if you spend a lot of time there doing sacred activities, including having dinner with loved ones and things like that.
Mm-hmm. You can do it on every ceiling of your house if you chose to.
Absolutely.
So that way you can engage a sacred space at any point in time in any room, or engage a magical space if it's not a sacred space to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can cast a very creative circle from the ceiling on down.
Exactly.
Another hiding in plain sight circles in sacred spaces is if you get a circular chandelier.
Yes.
Especially if the chandelier has the flickering candle light,
Mm-hmm.
you can cast a circle of light just by turning it on the chandelier.
Yep, absolutely. If you want to, you can take each of those candles and you can put a piece of ribbon around them or paint symbols on them or dress them very, very, very lightly, and never ever near any electrical connections, but very lightly with sacred oil.
Mm-hmm.
Just anything that you can kind of do to make that energy exudes, something that you would want to absorb, something that makes you feel good, something that kind of cleanses and helps you reestablish a baseline for your energy.
Even if you are unsure about the oil, you could probably even dress them in flower waters or hydrosols and allow them to dry before you even put the bulbs in.
Yeah.
Or connect it to the electricity. You can definitely paint or dress the candle, let it dry because it's just water. And then once it's dry, it won't have any potential ill effects or after effects because water evaporates when it dries.
Right, exactly.
But the magic does not.
Exactly. So that's a slightly safer way to do that as well. Not that dressing them with essential oils is dangerous, but fire safety first, right?
Yes, always safety first.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, safety first. You can't have a secret space if you're afraid, period.
Right, exactly. If your sacred space makes you feel apprehensive or afraid, it's not going to do what you want it to do. Along with visual and other sensory experiences that you have in these spaces, you need to feel safe there. If you have a sacred space, say in your laundry room, you've enchanted a chair, you've created a little corner where you go and you sit and you meditate or write in your journal, and that chair is rickety, rocks back and forth, and it doesn't feel like it's going to hold you, it's going to be less effective because you're always going to be in the back of your instincts feeling, oh, I'm going to fall. This chair is going to break underneath me. Doing what you can to make sure that wherever it is you are feels stable and secure as well. In the case of the rickety chair, if you can't replace the chair, see what you can do about gluing something to one of the legs so that it stays stable when you sit down in it. Get rid of the chair altogether and put one of those huge sturdy side tables there with a cushion on top, or stacked floor cushions or something else.
Great way to engage magical circles within that sacred space of your laundry room too is if you can get a tree ringed sitting stool, because then you have consecutive circles or circular patterns that also has tree energy.
Yep.
Tree energy, even when it's not in the shape of a tree, is really good for grounding and rooting.
Yep. One of the reasons we keep talking about these spaces having circles and having round edges and being spirals is because that's the shape that really amplifies energy. It helps it project outward and it helps it flow out, because nature doesn't really form itself in straight lines. Some crystals and things will do this, but for the most part, you're going to see the Fibonacci sequence. You're going to see spirals. You're going to see lots and lots of curves in nature. So having square, boxy places, the energy may still flow, but it's going to flow more easily if you have spiral or circular imagery.
Within basic energy movement design, corners are very static, and they can trap or end up having voids of energy, which is not good for your overall energy of the house. And our ancient ancestors usually built their homes in circular patterns. So it's, at the very least, a more efficient shape to hold heat or allow it to cool down, to move the energy through, because there's nothing to get stuck into.
Right.
Also, interestingly enough, with circles, wind and even very strong water tend to flow around circles rather than tearing them down or ripping them up. So when we're doing magic and we're working with air or water or very projective energies, doing it from a circle allows for that energy to move around the circle instead of tearing the circle down and ripping it up and causing more havoc than magic. Another spot that could be a sacred space, if you have the room for it, is a garden.
Yeah.
If you do circular gardens, that can easily become a circle for you to cast magic in. You can have a circle of herbs and flowers that are particularly magical to you that encircle your garden or your home, maybe even your shed, your magic shed.
Yeah. A lot of people create teepees of sunflowers. You could create a very tall hedge of sunflowers around your sacred magical space. If you want to make it practical as well as magical, which is a beautiful idea, any climbing vines, green beans, peas, so you could create one of those tomato cones, but really, really big, so you can sit inside of it.
Yeah, or you can do a circular pergola with climbing vines at each column.
Yep, absolutely, if you want to get real big with it.
And then you can even do grapes. Grapes are a good climbing vine depending on your climate. They're also mostly edible. You have the practical, where you can be harvesting the fruits. You have the magical, which means you could be grabbing the leaves, if not the seeds, or the fruit themselves and using that in your magic practice. And you have the potential fun, pleasing aspect of it, because grapes lead to wine, and wine can be fun.
Exactly. Because we've talked a lot about how you can create these in your home. You can also take them with you, mobile sacred spaces. A sacred space is just really, it's just a feeling of feeling secure and confident. You can make pretty much anything into a sacred space. Honestly, enchant your underwear. Make your underwear your sacred space. You can embroider a little something into your underwear if you like, on the leg or into the seam. You can wash it in a special detergent or spritz it with Florida water or another kind of water. You can choose underwear that are specific colors. You can use color magic to create this. And you can use laundry pen to draw sigils and things on your underwear as well. And this works for any clothing, but especially if you're trying to go incognito, your underwear is the perfect sacred space because it's right next to your skin. So you'll constantly be absorbing that energy. Socks are good for this too. And you can do it with your kids' socks. And socks come in so many different colors and patterns. It would be very interesting to have sacred socks for different situations. Shoes are another great place to put symbols and sigils, and because then you have that vibrational percussive energy of you walking in them to amplify. If you heard noise, that was me lightly clapping in rhythm. Percussive energy of your foot hitting that space that you have made sacred is going to amplify the energy and create almost a bubble around you.
And you can draw or even etch circles on the sole of your shoe. You can have either individual circle on your heel or your toe or your arch, or you can take your pair of shoes and draw a circle between the two of them, so that way you have a semicircle on either side, so you're always walking in circle. You
can do this with gloves. You can do it with, maybe you have a favorite sweater or jacket. You can do this with blankets. A blanket can be your sacred space. Jewelry can also be a sacred space. So that's all we have on our topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again soon. In the meantime, you can follow us for more witchy wisdom, both here and on our blog. And you can also check out our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thanks again for joining us. Go make some magic and live your best life.
Bye.